Here in Kenya, you can insult the president right now and nothing will happen. You won't be arrested for insulting the president.
In recent days, there's been a growing debate in Kenya about the extent of freedom of expression in the country. Kenyan politicians find themselves at the center of this discussion, as many wonder if they are disrespected by Kenyan citizens or if the nation has embraced too much freedom.
Hello, my name is Chief Okuzo from Plug TV.
It is not uncommon to come across video clips and social media posts where Kenyans unleash derogatory words against government leaders, including the president himself.
Kama Yaya Jammeh alitolewa na wananchi, wewe ni nani? Wewe ni mtoto wa mbwa. Wananchi power.
Takome nilikuambia na bado nakuambia, watu wa Azimio tulisikia uchungu. Chukua kidole yako, weka nyuma. Ukitoa nyuma nusa. Ile uchungu, ile utamu utasikia, ndio sisi tulisikia. Hii harufu utasikia. Hii harufu utasikia, ndio sisi tulisikia. Anatukumbusha ile maneno moya alifanya Raila, ati yule jamaa mama yako umbwa wewe. Wewe ni umbwa, kuja unishike. You are a liar. Tuko na uchungu. Useless. You are useless, you are stupid. Nonsense.
Astonishingly, these individuals often face no consequences from the government for their actions. This marks a stark contrast from the past when criticizing or showing opposition to the president was considered a criminal offense. During the Kenyatta and Moi eras, those who dared to oppose or disrespect the president often faced brutal repercussions, including torture and even death.
We used to have those publications. In prison you are not. You don't become soft. You're hardened even much more. You are beaten. You are pricked with the needles, pins. Yeah. Your testicles are tied. You are hit. My friend, I can't relate them because pain belongs to the bearer. You can't understand my pain. So when I came out of prison, I didn't stop it. In fact, I became more hard. I'm more of a handliner than before I was arrested. And let me just say that we as Africans, we respect the others and we respect the dead. Wow. President Dano Moi is dead, but I will never forgive him at all. Not even a single day. Because we really asked him to apologize to the nation.
However, these dark days are now a distant memory, and it is increasingly rare to hear about individuals being prosecuted for insulting the president. Even when such cases do arise, they tend to disappear without a trace. Now, the boldness of Kenyans in expressing their opinions has reached such heights that even former President Uhuru Kenyatta was forced to delete his Twitter account due to relentless insults hurled at him on Twitter.
Mimi siendi kwa magazeti, mimi nakutana na watu tu. Wewe sasa mimi sema. Niambie kwa sababu mimi sio mtu ya hiyo, hata Twitter mnaona na hiyo. Mimi niliondoka huko. Ngaona hii kitu ni bure, ni matusi tu, hakuna kitu kingine inaendelea hapa.
Comparatively, Kenya's neighboring countries seem to uphold stricter laws limiting citizens' freedom of expression. In Tanzania, for instance, opposing the government, especially the president, is considered as sacrilegious. Artists like rapper Nay wa Mitego have faced bans from performing due to their critical songs. Now, Tanzania opposition leader Tundu Lissu has also faced violence for his opposition to former President Pombe Magufuli's government, including surviving multiple gunshot wounds. Uganda's president has also shown a heavy hand against opposition figures such as singer Bobi Wine and opposition leader Besigye, who have faced harassment by the police.
put the thing there.
The list of East African countries with laws seemingly restricting freedom of expression goes on. But in Kenya, the freedom to express oneself appears to be much more pronounced. Lawyer Elvis Abenga attributes this freedom to Kenya's constitution, which guarantees freedom of expression under Article 34.
Are there.
And studying about the Kenyan constitution, tukiangalia how Kenyans normally talk on the internet, unapata sometimes you go overboard to the extent of maybe insulting public figures and all that. When you read the Kenyan constitution, do you feel maybe we are protected in such a manner that we can just utter anything?
Actually, Kenya is one of the most liberal democracies that we have in Africa right now. Some of the freedoms we have here are not enjoyed in other African countries. Here in Kenya, you can insult the president right now and nothing will happen. You won't be arrested for insulting the president because the Constitution guarantees you the freedom of expression, Article 34 of the Constitution.
However, he cautions Kenyans to respect the limitations of this freedom to avoid crossing constitutional boundaries.
You have the freedom to express yourself. But then, of course, every freedom has its limitations and responsibilities. So,
So, okay, ukiangalia, but we have been seeing people who normally insult the president and they get arrested.
They will get arrested, but how? I mean, when you follow up on how those cases end up, not all of them end up in convictions, unless most times the insult by itself is not the reason they arrest. Maybe they attach other offenses to them, like inciting the public. Then that becomes a proper offense. But an incitement by itself, insulting the president by itself as an insult is not an offense under the law currently. During the Moi era, it used to be. But with the current constitution, with the freedom of expression and all that, people get away with it. I mean, how many times do you see people on social media going around saying all manner of things?
But some of them are charged under defamation.
Defamation is no longer a crime right now. The courts held that criminal defamation is illegal. It's unconstitutional. So now we only have defamation as a civil offense, as a civil wrong. So you can get sued for defamation. But even insults by itself do not constitute defamation.
So unapatanga maybe umeongea kitu kidogo umekuwa served.
In an insult, and I think in one of my future TikTok videos I will talk about it, what defamation really is. For defamation to exist, you must make a statement, publish it, or either speak it to one other person, and it must cause that person to be ridiculed or his esteem to be lowered in the presence of right-thinking members of the public. So if I call someone that this person is a dog, and everyone else can see that this person is not a dog, that is not defamation.
So, okay, for instance, if I come and say maybe this person is a thief, that can be termed as...
You see, now that becomes a different situation. Because if the public will start wondering, is this person really a thief or not? And actually believing that this person is a thief, that becomes defamation. But an insult by itself, without that element of reducing the person's reputation, does not amount to defamation.
You get somebody saying that since whatever you have uttered with your mouth constitutes to defamation. Matter of cost some of my clients to lose this amount of money.
Yeah, it is possible if they can then they can demonstrate and call witnesses and say that because this person said this, we now believed. You know, for defamation to be held, the public must have an aspect of believing in what that statement is. Yeah, that it is true. So the statement must be false, but the public must believe that it is true. And in believing that it is true, they change how they view this person. Then that becomes defamation.
So if you're found guilty of defamation, what are the charges?
Defamation right now is not a criminal offense. It's just a civil offense. Civil, it's not something you'll be taken to prison over or tried. It is something that you will be ordered to pay what we call damages or compensation to the person. Yeah.
Minimum or maximum amount?
It does. There's no scale on that. It's what the court gives. Yeah. And depending on the reputation that has been affected and so on and so forth.
Despite the constitutional protections, some Kenyans still face the wrath of political leaders and their supporters who cannot tolerate insults or disrespect.
Kwa nini unachokoza governor? Kuna shida unataka governor. Kwa nini unachokoza governor? Mbona unachokoza governor? Alaka wenzangu unakuja kwa. Austin. Unajua unaweza kufia hapa. Unajua unaweza kufia hapa. Mbona tukala governor? Mbona unatukana governor? Governor alikukosea nini? Tukue tu realistic. Sema tu kitu governor alikukosea.
Nakosa sababu sama.
Sasa fanya hivi. Hii mkutano yenye iko hapa ni ya governor? Ya governor. PK hajakuwa invited. Hajakuwa invited? Holori. Mimi nitakudunga kisu. Mimi sitacheka. Fanya hivi. Nataka utoke uende huko. Na kupata dakika 2 ukuu umetoka. Haya wewe unaitwa nani?
Critics argue that the current government suppresses dissent and punishes those who insult the president. Recent incidents such as comedian Eric Omondi's run-in with authorities for alleged attempts to incite opposition and the harsh response by the police during a nationwide protest organized by opposition leader Raila Odinga have raised concerns about the state of freedom of expression in Kenya. Accusations of assassination plots against Raila Odinga and claims that the current president aims to impose dictatorial laws reminiscent of other East African nations have intensified the debate.
We will not tire to remind Kenyans that if we drop our vigilance, we are in for a ruthless dictator than we have ever seen and than that has not been witnessed in this region.
Tutalia. Watanzania washaanza kutuambia tutalia sana. We are entering a dictatorship. Babu Wina alishikwa, koti kasema apeleke hospitali. Wakapita hospitali wakampeleka pala kumpatia hata dawa. Kutoka hivi alihepa na ambulance. Walikuwa wanataka kumshika, kumrudisha ndani, wameletea GSU. Wanapiga watu ndani ya koti. Wanapiga mpaka reporters. We are entering a dictatorship. I've given you 2 examples. A man was arrested and took 3 days in the police cells. The constitution requires that you be produced in a court of law within 24 hours. Victor Juma was produced in court yesterday, was arrested on Wednesday. We need to, to sue government. That guy will make millions because the government went against his human right and his constitutional right. It was illegal. Na tuachili hivyo.
Now the big question on everyone's mind is, will the current regime successfully turn back the clock to an era where opposing the government and president was a criminal offense? And will the current president manage? Because according to what many people are speculating, that the president is plotting to return the dictatorial law back in the country. For instance, Ndura Waringi has foretold so.
Those are the people that Ruto want to work with in the next government. The people who help him change the constitution to remove the limit.
Presidential term limit.
Yes, so that he can be like Kagame. Ruto wants to change this nation like Kagame.
But don't you feel maybe that's going to be...
I'm telling you his mind. I'm not telling you what will happen. I'm reading his mind. Yeah, Ruto will want to have a timeless, unlimited time of presidency. That next election he wins, another election he wins, another election he wins. He will muscle out every opposition leader. Anybody who can oppose him, he will try to muzzle up. But before that, he must change the constitution to remove the time limit.
Anyway, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in our comment section. That is it for now. Thanks for watching. Let's see you next time. Bye-bye.